Dexperience Digimon. Dex.
What's up?
Hi. Hello.
Welcome to Dexperience. Today we're going to be talking about episode 16.
16.
Pokemon Shipwreck.
Wreck.
Should we do it in Ash's voice? Pokemon Shipwreck.
Pokemon Shipwreck.
No, that's Ash 5. I've heard him.
Oh,
Ash. Pokemon. No,
Great
Dennis
Veronica
can do it
Taylor,
good,
guys.
Ash.
Yeah. Can we hear it, Dennis?
I traded away my Raticate, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to trade it.
Okay, that wasn't as good as last
episode.
I don't know.
We put you on
you,
the
know,
spot,
you put me on the
Yeah, I
spot.
did put you on
That's
the spot.
alright, that's
One
alright.
This is like
Pokemon
when
as
I
well.
tell people that I'm a singer and they like sing something. I'm like, what? From the anything?
From
Yes.
Pokemon.
Yes, from anything. Come
Anyway,
on, Dennis.
I'm Harry.
Oh, I'm
cool.
Dennis.
I'm Logan.
Hi. My name's Chef. No, my name's Oliver. Hi.
Okay, and Harry, you got the game today?
I do have the game, so we're going to play a lovely version of 20 questions.
Oh.
So I have a Pokemon in
Ooh,
mind.
that sounded really nice.
Exciting.
Oh, and these guys are going to ask me 20 questions and try and figure out what Pokemon it is.
Okay.
Okay,
nice.
and then... Wait, do we know what thingy, generation?
It's
or
from
region?
Sword and Shield.
Okay, cool.
So it's
It's-
not necessarily
It's not necessarily
Gen
a Sword and
8
Shield
Pokemon, yeah, but it's in the game Sword and Shield.
Are they a
Okay.
Generation 8 Pokemon?
Is that the first
That's
question?
a question.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a question. Cool. Well, there we go. That now.
Right. I know
That's one
that.
question.
Are they exclusive to one version of the game?
That's
No.
also a question. Are they, from the best of your knowledge, are they used in any gym battles?
No.
Okay.
Are they a starter Pokemon?
No. I think to fill the
Yeah.
I'll talk.
Are they found in the wild area?
Kind of.
Kind of. What does that
Kind.
mean?
That means kind of.
Oh, so it's probably a raid Pokemon.
Kind of.
Kind of.
Oh,
It's
like a
probably
raid.
It's probably like a.
Okay. Is it an electric type?
No.
Damn.
14 questions
Is it a-
to go.
Has it got two typings?
Yes.
Oh, it's a multi.
Is it a third stage evolution?
No.
Okay.
Is it toxic Pokemon?
No.
I was thinking like
Does it
toxicity.
evolve?
No.
It doesn't evolve.
No.
Okay,
That's
so
another question. So
No,
9
that's
questions
not
to
a
go.
question.
10
It's
questions
so
to
it
go.
says okay. Can we
So
just let's just
yeah. Well, let's review.
It's a single stage evolution
Uh-huh.
from
Sword and Shield.
From Sword and Shield.
And it
that's
can-
native to Sword and
and it's like a Gen 8 Pokemon.
whatever.
It's kind of found in the wild area.
Yeah, it's
That's
cool.
kind of found in
it
the
could be a
wild.
two-stage Pokemon in its final stage.
No, it's a single stage.
No, because the question was, does it evolve? And that still counts for a second stage. And it'd be no. And
Wait,
said,
did I ask if it was a evolution?
You said, does it evolve? And Harry said no. And then I asked, is it a third stage? And Harry said no. But that still means it could be a second stage. So should one of the questions be,
No, well, you should ask if it.
is it a second stage Pokemon?
No.
Okay, well, so okay,
You
so we know-
wasted a question.
No, it's all right. We have heaps, but that's important to know. So
Oh
now,
my
we
God.
9 left.
now we
Okay.
know for sure it's a single.
Is it...
Okay, let's think. What ones are in Gen 8?
There's Centipedal.
Is it the Wooloo?
Oh my god,
Centipedal.
I haven't played Sword and Shield in ages.
Oh,
now.
the Phalanx. It could be. That's not a question, but like it could be Phalanx.
Could be Wooloo.
Phalanx.
No, Wooloo has an evolution.
Damn it.
Phalanx.
It's not an electric type, so it's not like.
It's not Toxtricity. 'cause
Oh,
it's-
Yamper.
No.
I like this.
Yamper has an evolution.
9 to go.
So it's
Yamper
Toxtricity.
evolves.
No evolution, guys.
Yeah, there's no evolution.
No
You asked, does it
evolution.
evolve?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
It
just
does
going... We're
not
just like...
I'm just
Evolve.
narrowing
sorry.
it down. So it's not an electric type. It could be Phalanx.
I can't think of any other single stage.
What do you want? You got 9
What does
questions. You wanna
Phalanx
start
look
asking
like?
what
It's
Pokemon
those.
it is?
It's those like ball things that like go. whoop, whoop,
What
whoop,
kind of
whoop,
type
whoop.
is
It's
it?
a fighting type.
Fighting type.
Why don't we... Is it a fighting type?
No.
Okay, there we
No.
go.
Eight
Oh,
to-
so
eight
it's
to go.
not Phalanx.
You can't
need
find
to start-
Phalanx in
Oh
the...
my god, I feel like we're
Oh,
just
yeah, it's not-
You
asking
need to start
questions
asking
willy
if
nilly.
it's a Pokemon before you run out of those questions.
Is it a Pokemon?
What? No, that. What?
That doesn't count. Of course, it's Pokemon.
It could be. No, it can't be Heterine or its evolution.
Yeah, they
It
all-
doesn't evolve.
It's not. It doesn't evolve.
It's a stink.
Oh, it
it's
could be
a
legendary. It could be
solo
legendary. We're
stage.
not thinking legendaries.
A legendary.
And he said so, but that what
Okay.
legendaries are found
Oh,
in the
that's
wild
a question.
area,
That's a
though?
good question. Oh,
Because it's found
kind
in the
of
wild
in the
area.
wild area.
Yeah.
What is that?
There's no
mean?
legendaries. Oh, it could be.
Do you want a hint?
Could it be like a Gigantamax
Do
version?
you want a
that-
hint?
Of a Pokemon? No, it wouldn't... be
Oh,
much.
oh wait, no.
Do you want a hint?
No.
What kind of hint?
Yeah. What
Give
kind
me
of?
a
I can't
hint.
tell you what kind
Give
of
me a
hint.
hint about what the
You'll
hint
need
Yeah.
to agree if you want a hint.
No, I don't want a hint.
I don't
There
want
you
to.
go.
Because we got 8 more questions.
You get 8 more questions.
Okay, well, let's think. What's a good question?
Is
it a legendary? Is
Nope.
it a question?
Oh,
No,
well, you
we
just
knew
wasted
it's
a
not.
question.
We know it's not because no legendaries are found in the
7
wild area.
questions.
Oh.
Dennis,
questions
I
left.
said that, Dennis.
Is one of its typings?
That wasn't a question. I wasn't.
Ah,
asking.
I'm counting it as a question.
I'd count it as a question.
Logan and
Yeah, I'm
Oliver if
counting
that
it as
was
a
a
question.
question.
Is one of its
Okay.
typings grass?
No. 6.
Well, that's what you.
Is one of its typings
No,
psychic?
stop.
Nope, that's
Logan,
5 to go.
Logan.
5 questions
Okay,
left.
Well, now we know it's not grass or psychic.
It's not
Could-
okay.
guy-
It's not grass. It's not psychic. It's not electric.
it's not
It's
poison.
not toxic.
What?
Poison.
It's not poison.
Someone asked for poison.
Yeah, I
Yes,
asked.
it's toxic.
Oh my god. How many did you ask? There's 17 types.
Yeah, you got 5 questions left.
Okay. This isn't a Harry Stone Journer. That's a single stage.
Stone Journer.
Yeah.
What kind of
stone,
type is
It's
that?
a rock type.
But it's
Don't
multi-type.
ask.
We know it's multi-type.
Do we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Harry
okay.
said it was. Don't ask.
Okay.
It could be that bird thing that shoots out fish. Is that like water
Oh,
flies?
Cramorant.
Because that doesn't evolve. And
Oh.
Harry
Harry
does
loves
like
Cramorant.
as
Is it
well.
water flying though?
No, don't. That's not.
Is
good.
it? No, that was me to
Yes,
you guys.
that is a water flying Pokemon.
It might be Cramorant.
Harry is a Cramorant.
Harry does look like he's smiling.
No.
Oh!
4 to go. 4 to go.
Oh, damn it.
Oh.
That was a good shout, though. I really do like Cramorant. It was quickly
This is to you
becoming my
guys.
favorite.
Just make sure. Could Harry be like pulling one over our eyes and then it's like a Gigantamax like thing?
But then
Because they're fine in the wild area.
But a lot of the Gigantamax Pokemon aren't just like exclusive to Gen. Like they're still
Well,
like.
the forms are though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but
All
they're
the
still, like-
Gigantamax forms.
But it's Harry-
I wouldn't think that far ahead.
It's
You
Harry,
would?
and
Okay,
Harry's
it's
not
not
going to
bad.
do us
Okay.
dirty
Okay.
like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not going to trick you like
Okay.
Because that's not like that's still like a
What
previous
other
generation.
single stage Gen 8 Pokemon are there?
Well, you guys should know. You
4
guys.
questions, guys. We've still got an
Go
episode
through
to
the
get through as well.
Pokedex. I know.
Just start asking Pokemon.
Okay.
Why not? Let's just ask like.
I
another
can't
typing.
think of any other single
Can it
stage.
fly?
No.
There we go.
Stop
So
asking.
now we know it's
You
land or
just
sea.
asking
But
You're not realizing the severity of the situation where we have to be like
3 questions left.
Very.
is one
I
of its
like the other
typings a
ones.
water type?
Yes.
Oh.
Stop asking.
2
That's a good
questions left.
question.
So wait, it's a
Oh
water
my God.
something.
It's a
in-
water something.
Okay.
Apology, please.
I'm
We
sorry.
need to think of okay. All the
2
water.
questions left. One of those
Single
has to
stage
be
water-
the Pokemon.
So it's not what Cramorant? What other single stage water
And
Pokemon
so
is there?
it's native to
Short and
Gen
shield.
8.
Sword and
kind
Shield.
of in the wild area.
Oh my god.
What we
does
asked
that
is it a Gen
I
8
said
Pokemon?
kind of in the wild area when you asked if it was in the wild
So
area.
are you saying that
Yes.
it's a new?
But we know it's a Gen 8 Pokemon. We,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Gen 8
So it's a Gen 8 Pokemon. So it's not a Pokemon with a new form.
Pokemon. No, he said he's not going to do
Oh,
So
he likes that stupid
water,
penguin one.
Oh,
Ice
that's
Cube?
ice. It's ice type.
ice cube.
It's not
Ouch.
water.
Oh, okay.
Stupid.
What about that?
Logan
Oh
just
wait,
is
no,
like
it's
the
not a
Pokemon I
fighting
like.
type because there's that octopus that's.
That's fighting.
Is
He
it
said it's
fighting?
ice. He's no, sorry. He said
Water.
it's water.
Is it not water fighting?
No, it's just fighting.
You can ask me if you want. Guarantee.
Well, we know it's.
Wait, we
ice.
still
It's
have
not
what?
water.
2 more questions,
Yeah, you got 2 more questions.
and then we can guess. So what's another good question?
So it's water.
What's a common typing?
Is
match?
okay. What about like?
Water.
Is this to you guys? Is it a fish water Pokemon or is it like a water Pokemon? Like is it one that looks like a fish or? Is it...
Okay, yeah. Does it look like a fish?
Half of it does.
What? What does that even?
Okay,
mean?
so what?
What is it?
Wait, is it like those It's the
What?
the fossil Pokemon, you know, the ones
Oh,
that
it's one of the fossil
Oh my
Pokemon.
god, is it?
Wait, no.
which
no,
one?
no,
Wait,
no,
wait.
that's not the question.
I don't
Wait,
even.
wait.
I can't
There's
even.
two.
I don't
An
even know what the
Arctovish
name
is one,
Arctifish,
and the other.
Zigazalt, Zigazigzal.
No, but that's electric. That's an
Oh, yeah.
electric one.
Well, why don't you just ask? We got 2 questions.
No,
and
we
there's
need
only
one.
2.
There you
Do
go.
we
One
need
question
to? Do we
left.
have
And
to
then
know
we can
the name?
guess.
Yeah, you have to know the name and you have to ask me with this question what Pokemon it is.
Yeah, just
Okay,
go.
okay,
Otherwise,
this is
otherwise you run out.
This is
Just
how we
go.
can do it.
Questions.
One of them is water ice,
Oh,
and
so
the
we
other
ask-
one is water.
No.
Dragon.
This question is asking me what
Oh
Pokemon
my
it is.
god. Okay.
What? I don't know. I thought
Yes,
it's
it's
like
not
you...
21
Okay.
questions. It's 20 questions.
Well, can we think of the? I know Arctovish is one of the names.
Let's just do it.
Can we think of the other one?
No,
the
I can't.
Dracovish. I think it's
Dracovish,
Dracovish or
yeah.
Arctovish.
Arctivish or Dracovish?
What are you feeling?
One of
Which
them,
one looks more like a
Dracovish
fish?
is the lightning one, electric one.
And
right?
it's not
No.
electric then. We know it's
No.
not electric.
No, it's electric water. Is it electric water?
No, there's no electric water. There's dragon ice and water ice.
So it would be the water ice one.
I believe. Are those?
Which
is
one's
that
the
right?
water
Yeah, do the water ice one.
The water ice one.
Which
Oh
one's
yeah.
a-
Because we know
I
it's water
think
type.
Arcto. I think.
Okay.
It won't be Draco. It won't be Draco because that's a dragon.
Yeah, so do the water one.
Okay.
Is it? Wait, is its name Arctovish? What if it's not?
Yeah, just do it. Just do it.
Is the Pokemon Arctovish?
The Pokemon is Dracofish.
Oh!
It was the other one. It was the other one.
Because Arcto is ice.
Oh
Oh,
my
I
I
know.
didn't
Hold
say
on.
it was ice tag.
We were so
Oh,
close.
it's that you guys got that close, man.
Get out
I
of
let
so
everyone
close.
It
down.
took the
Oh
last
my
2
God.
questions.
Okay.
It was
Oh.
50-50.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh.
Do you get with like kind of the wild area because you find the fossils in the wild
Yeah,
area?
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I see.
That threw us off.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, that's
Okay.
fair, though. Great job.
Thanks,
Wow.
man.
Oh my
I like it being on this side than the other side of no.
Well, that's a good game,
That's a
actually.
good
which is a
game.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do the recap this
How
time.
long
Okay.
did that take? Oh my
Story
God.
time.
With,
Story time with
Dexperience.
Logan.
Why didn't I get my own theme
You
song?
did.
I did. I
Logan
sang
did.
it for you.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
Pokemon
attention.
Shipwreck. So we have a sinking ship. We see it, and then we go to like the next day, and we see Officer Jenny with a whole bunch of other like sailing people. What are they called? Sailors.
Sailing people are called sailors.
They're not
Logan.
sailors. They're like. Oh, actually.
Yeah, they're like Navy. They'll be like Navy people. They look like.
Oh,
with Officer
for
Jenny.
some reason I thought they were just like other Officer Jennies, but like the male
No.
I
version.
thought they were Coast Guard.
Yeah, like
Oh.
Coast Guard, Navy. And they're having a funeral, and Officer Jenny's like, let's honor their memory with these flowers and throw some flowers into the ocean. And we follow the petals into the deep, deep sea, which is actually terrifying. And we find the boat almost at the bottom of the ocean, still sinking, with Ash being woken up by Misty and Brock. Why are you laughing?
I said Ocean Man.
He went, Ocean Man. Take me
Um,
by the hand.
So we have the boat at the bottom of this, heading down the bottom of the sea, and then they're like, I was just wondering how it's not flooding, but that's okay. And then
What? You've never like put like a
Yeah.
shampoo bottle into
I
a
suppose.
You've seen Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
into
When
the
Captain
bath.
Jack and Will
Oh,
Turner
good
are
point.
walking on
There's
the
like air bubbles.
and so we have then then we cut to Jesse and James on a beach sunbathing,
Yeah, man.
doing their like catchphrase thingy like in the sun, and then they wake up and realize that the heat they were feeling was just from an oven that's burning them alive.
Fools.
And Meowth wakes them up. Then Jesse grabs one of the smallest Pokeballs I've ever seen and tries to throw out an Ekans and uses acid to put a hole in the boat, which starts flooding the boat even more. And then we cut back to Ash and Misty and stuff talking about trying to find an exit because like they're gonna go through the ocean and find the deck. And then
You mean through the base of the ship?
no, they're going down into the water to get out the deck of the ship.
Yeah, but it's upside down. Right?
Exactly. So
Yes,
the
they go
top,
down and the
so the
bottom
base
to
of
the
the
deck.
boat is. So they're going down to get outside
Oh,
of the top of the boat.
okay.
Yeah, and so then they're like, but then Misty's like, oh, if we
Get Goldeen.
swim and find a wrong entrance, we'll die. And then we see Ash die, and
Yeah, we see Ash die.
As
An
a-
alternate reality.
Yeah.
As like a cutaway. he
and
doesn't
then
actually
Misty
die.
throws out a Goldeen.
Ash is
For
dead.
Family Guy.
Misty
made it
comes in
cool.
handy. I talked about this, I think, 2 episodes ago. How I thought
Misty does nothing.
Misty hasn't really done anything. Misty comes really handy in this
MVP.
episode.
The MVP.
And she throws out a Goldeen, and Goldeen kind of goes swimming and finds a blockage, but she sees Team Rocket full on just drowning, like their faces are blue. So she pushes them back with her horn.
Very powerful.
Yeah, I don't know how she was pushing all three. And then, so Goldeen pushes Team Rocket. They're almost dead for like the first time this
Oliver,
episode.
stop whispering.
What?
It's so distracting.
The
Like
first
people
time
are
in
gonna
this
like
episode.
listen and they're gonna be like, "Who's whispering?"
And then, then they still start fighting, which is just like, like why are they still fighting? They're about to die.
Yeah, why can't we
Ash
be friends?
breaks the rules.
Yes,
does.
breaks the rules.
Sends
We'll
out-
get into that. He sends out 2 Pokemon when they both send out one each.
Actually, he sends out 3
Three
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Oh yeah, and Brock sends out one. Sorry,
Alright.
but yeah, that's like
Anyway,
breaking the rules.
It's all right. We forgive you.
Awkward.
And then they make a truce. Pikachu zaps Meowth even though they have a truce. There's a funny scene of the Pokemon running between the boat. And then Brock sends out Onix when they decide they're going to leave. Who somehow 6 little Pokemon are small enough to rock the boat, but a gigantic Onix is fine.
Yep.
um,
Excellent point.
Yeah, Misty just kind of leading the charge, and then they kind of just escaping the boat, burning fire, water, all that jazz. Ash gets a questionable brain jump. And then they all grab water Pokemon and attach themselves to water Pokemon, and then like they all swim out. Then there's the greatest scene ever,
Except for Team Rocket.
yeah, and that's the greatest scene ever of Team Rocket using the Magikarp from the previous episode, which is so good.
Long walk for a short drink of water.
Yeah, and then Magikarp doesn't do anything, and then Magikarp kind of just, it looks like Team Rocket just full on drowns, and then we have a trio on a raft talking about Noah, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then they send out
Religion.
Pidgeotto to find land, but instead Pidgeotto, like Goldeen, finds Team Rocket. And they think Team Rocket are dead. When Team Rocket come back to the raft, and they're like, oh, they're going to have a traditional burial at sea, which apparently is just pushing people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And then when we realize they're alive, Pikachu does a little like,
Pikachu's like,
oh snap, like he really wants
He's
it
like,
now.
damn
Like,
it.
dude. And Magikarp's just flailing. They want to eat Magikarp because they're so hungry. And then they kick Magikarp into the... James kicks Magikarp because he's useless. Says he doesn't own him anymore, basically.
I feel that.
And then Magikarp evolves into Gyarados, which is massive and insane. And then we see the Pokédex for the first time in a while, actually. We haven't seen Pokédex in a while.
Good old Dex.
good old Dexter.
And then they start running away from the Gyarados. And then Gyarados calls multiple other Gyarados. And Misty tells us that they're about to use his most powerful move, which is Dragon Rage. And there's like 5 of them make a giant twister. And we end, I didn't expect this, on another cliffhanger!
Another
Yeah.
You didn't
cliffhanger.
mention that they get swept up by the twister and then they get separated.
I didn't see they got
Well, they
separated.
got like
Yeah, they all
they
go
were
into
holding
the-
hands and
Yeah,
then
well,
they got
this is
separated.
like
in
a-
the
It's
twister.
a full-on Wizard of Oz
Separate
moment.
twister.
Yeah.
Well, I give like a brief overview, then we go into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how we've always done it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, what a good episode.
Why are you
eh?
going-
What a fantastic
It was so
episode,
good.
It
guys.
was good. Was it worth like the wait?
Yeah,
Yeah.
waited what, like a week?
Yeah, you waited quite a
Yeah,
while.
it's
there,
So
Yeah,
wasn't
it was a
funny. Really funny.
It was really
and
good.
Really entertaining. Oh my gosh.
it? Yeah, man. Like just kicking it right off the bat, you know, with that funeral.
Oh my god.
Oh my
so,
God.
Like, we're like,
It's just
"Whoa!"
like, damn, I guess they actually
Yes,
out
they
there.
did.
Officer Jenny, I noticed, had
Yeah, you did,
a
eh?
circle, gold circle with a star in her
Oh
hand.
wow, that's so
Yeah,
good of you
thank
to
you.
notice.
I was just really onto it.
You didn't like go back to Netflix and be like, guys, can we like go through it again?
No, that was
you
actually
didn't.
Harry.
No, I actually did that.
Oh,
Sorry, guys. I was like thinking of buying a phone.
yeah. What phone are you thinking of getting?
The Galaxy Note 10 Plus.
Oh, it's
good
good.
phone.
It's a good phone. I hear.
Harry, you have a good phone already, don't buy.
I was wondering though. Okay, so I said this in the rundown, but Windows have a certain amount of pressure they can take before they break.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you telling me they built this boat knowing that it could potentially go to the very bottom of the sea?
100%.
and
Yeah, I
Windows
assume so.
wouldn't smash in?
I mean, like, they're pretty thick if you've been on a boat. Like, you try and poke it.
And
like,
also-
it's really sturdy.
You're
also,
trying
like-
to break the
I'm not
windows
trying
on
to,
your
like,
cruise
I'm not
ship.
throwing a
Harry.
rock at it. I'm like,
Even-
oh, it's a window. I want to touch it.
Like
an
it's not
airplane.
like it. Well, I would assume that like it doesn't just break all at once. It'll slowly like start breaking, like gradually, like the
People's
pressure.
heads explode
And
when they go too
yeah,
deep.
yeah.
I would be more
Yes,
worried about
good.
that. Actually,
Some
I
41
actually,
songs.
Mythbusters,
I actually
yeah.
thought about that as a kid. I was like, even though they swim out of the boat, like the
Like
pressure
so-
of the ocean,
Especially,
will
yeah,
just,
like,
crush
They,
their-
the pressure difference as well, because they're going quite quickly. The
Yeah.
pressure difference from like swimming from that deep to that high at least would mess up their ears.
yeah,
Like
Maybe
they're-
they're only like 10 feet deep.
yeah, maybe.
No, because they would have to see. Jenny would see them.
I think the matter with the windows breaking, we do live in a world with literal monsters, pretty
Yeah.
much, like with Gyarados. So I think they really got to strengthen.
Yeah, you hope their
those
insurance
ships.
is really good.
I guess
Yeah.
you gotta.
Good
There's a
point.
certain part of you that has to suspend some disbelief.
Of course.
No, this is realistic.
No, it has to be all accurate.
The
Otherwise,
physics. What are the physics of the Pokemon
I
world?
don't know, man.
course.
Apparently, Butterfree is the code for virginity. So, like, anything
Yes,
can mean anything.
that's
I
true.
mean, that's true. Yeah.
There's a lot of death in this episode.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
it's
Yeah.
quite-
Like-
and it's quite funny.
Ash, we see Ash basically die. We see Team Rocket like basically die
They died,
twice.
like 3 times.
They
They
do
got,
die,
like-
and then like they're abandoned by Bulbasaur and the gang at one point when they're escaping over the pit of fire, and then they say their best line I think they've had in the series so far when they say when
The
they
Ring
said
of Fire.
that beautiful people die young. They must have been
Yeah.
talking about us.
Oh yeah, that was good. Yeah, Team Rocket were really witty in this
Oh, that
episode.
was
they had
good,
some
eh?
excellent lines.
Yeah. I really liked that truce that they had to do.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of that. I love that trope of like enemies having to work together because they're in like a really like
dire
dangerous
situation.
situation.
We see it quite a few times throughout the years, but it is never used too much, which I appreciate. It's
No.
used very sparingly, but it is used.
Yeah.
It's just the dynamic of all 5, 6 of them.
It's
so
like a
cool.
it's like a pretty classic thing in like cartoons of like the good characters in the cartoons and like the like Adventure Time, like Ice King,
Yeah.
like wacky
Finn and
races.
Jake and
Yeah.
stuff.
Did you mention that Ekans used acid
Yeah.
on the?
Then he starts,
Yeah,
They
he did
just
mention
make
that.
it worse.
and
Maybe
Meowth
they-
is
so
like,
good.
guys,
Maybe
stop.
they're all just on a big trip. That's all it could have been.
Wow.
Oh my god, the actual acid.
Also, I can't believe like because Geodude are quite heavy, and they show it in the episode that they're quite heavy, and like as well as Onyx, and they had that thing with the seesawing of the
That was
ship.
Oh yeah, the boat would like
Yeah.
tilt. Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I laughed so much at that. I thought
We
it was
were all
what?
cracking up in here.
It was. I was like cracking up. I was like, I couldn't breathe as a kid. I just remember
That's
that so
very cute.
distinctly. That like I was like ah ha ha.
I also like
he weighs more.
it's like it's like full on life and death situation, and Pikachu still doesn't go into a Pokeball.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, true.
Like they're trying to balance the boat
guess
so they
'cause-
don't die, and Pikachu's still not going to go into his ball.
I guess Pikachu wants to help. I guess.
I suppose.
Like, Pikachu is pretty chunky. He weighs 6
Yeah,
kgs.
chunky
I
boy.
searched this up for the last episode. I forgot to mention it. Like when Pikachu used to chill on Ash's neck. Like,
Oh, yeah.
He weighs 6 kgs.
Do you think that's why
pretty
Ash
heavy.
never grows?
He's just
'Cause it's
stunted
like-
Pikachu's weighing him
What,
down.
like he's just fused his bones together from
Yeah,
the weight.
from, like, the
Ooh.
weight.
And like the 6 kgs was like measured after Pikachu slimmed down. So who knows how chunky he is.
Jeez.
at the
I mean,
moment.
Ash has had heavier Pokemon in him, like Hippopotas,
Yeah, he
Gabite.
held like a shell
maybe a
gun or something,
Munchlax?
and they're like 50,
Shellgun,
50 60 kgs.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
pretty big,
God.
man. So Pokemon weights are kind of weird, and like because we see it as
Yeah.
well. Like when Brock sent out the Onix after the 6 little Pokemon,
the ship's fine.
The ship's fine. You
Yeah.
can handle the Onix, but not 6 more Pokemon.
I love
And
how
that-
they use him as a staircase.
It's very utility wise. It's great.
Yeah. And in terms of utility, using Charmander as well.
Yeah,
It's quite cool.
Charmander.
Using the flame again. Very
And
smart.
Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's used as like a roped bridge, basically.
Yeah.
And
In
Squirtle's
the
used.
fire room, of course. Every ship has a fire room.
Of course.
Maybe
If your ship's sinking, you don't have a fire room. Your ship's not really sinking.
Maybe it was the
Okay.
kitchen. It could be in the kitchen that Team Rocket and Prior.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big kitchen
Every
fire.
Pokemon had their little like use, which was quite cool to see.
Squirtle
Like
got
real
his as
and
well.
like Charmander as
Yeah.
well. being
All
the
of
light
Misty's
for
water
them.
Pokemon got used
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
times.
It's actually nice to see
Goldeen got to
Goldeen.
redeem herself.
Yeah, I don't know
After
about
just
that.
flailing around in the
Yeah.
first episode.
Yeah.
Which is
Good on
quite
him.
cool.
It's good. Like I think this is probably the most character Goldeen's ever gonna get. Like
Goldeen
and
with an
rightfully
actual
so.
facial
that,
expression.
that facial expression when she sees like Team Rocket just like dead and
She's just like,
"Ugh."
Magikarp in this episode.
It's the hero.
Actually, that was so funny. Like
Magikarp is
It's
amazing.
James just like having his back to the rest of Team Rocket and being like, "You all laughed at me when I got this, but now you need him, the King of Carp, Magikarp."
So good how they brought him back from last episode.
It was-
Such a good
It
little
was
plot.
so,
like,
so fun to
It's
watch
like-
everybody's
So
cogs turn on
satisfying.
it.
Yeah.
Like
It's
we all
like-
watched this episode together, so like
Yeah.
seeing Logan and Oliver realize,
So
oh,
good.
Magikarp is here to be the hero.
Because I was like, they don't have any water Pokemon. What are they going to do? And I was like, wait
you're,
a second.
you're expecting Magikarp to actually do something.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, he's gonna swim out!" And then he just
yeah,
flailing.
it just flails about.
I was
It's like that's so good. Like comedy wise, it's like double subversion.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's
I was
so
like,
good.
I loved how James also played it off like it was his plan, like all along that this Magikarp. Well, he didn't buy it to sell it; he bought it to save their
Yeah, he
lives.
knew.
James knew that the boat was going to capsize.
Yeah.
So-
What
Actually,
if
we didn't
James
talk about how-
capsized the boat?
No, we actually didn't talk about this in the last episode though. How the Saint Anne sinks because there's a storm, but
Yeah.
the storm was caused by the Pikachu and like Pidgey. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I.
was it?
That's kind of what I thought because like they do the big whirlwind and they make the lightning and stuff. So I'm like,
Maybe.
and like because like they're all
Oh.
doing massive attacks. That's
Right.
what I thought.
Yeah, it kind of
That
just
makes
seemed like it
sense.
came from nowhere, so that does make sense.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
it came from like
And, like, that
the
would affect the
Pokemon like
waves.
messing up the,
The waves in
elements.
it. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Does that
Look
hap-
at you.
Does that happen in the series? Like, do
Well, we see it with Gyarados like later in this one
Yeah.
with the Twister.
Yeah, Pokemon can have weather effects and such.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting because Ash, Brock, and Misty don't know that Team Rocket have Magikarp. And Misty's just like, tie yourself to your water Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
Just
does Misty just
assumes.
assume that they have
Yeah.
a water type?
Or
I
she
guess so,
leaving
'cause
him to
they're like-
die.
They are like Pokemon catchers. So surely, like, one point in their lives, they've caught water Pokemon.
Yeah, I guess they just assume that they would have.
It's either
more
like,
other
cool, they
Pokemon.
got a water Pokemon, or our enemies die. Like, either way, it's
Yeah.
a win-win for us.
Yeah,
eh?
I love how like
And Misty
everyone just has
like
rope.
3
as
water
well.
Pokemon.
Yeah, Misty could have given them some.
You could have
What if,
Starmie.
what if Misty's
Come on,
just
man.
like, she's like, attach yourselves to your water Pokemon.
Well, I think Brock,
See you later.
Brock uses one of Misty's Pokemon.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So
and
she has
Ash
one spare.
uses Squirtle.
Yeah, Ash
Yeah.
uses a Squirtle, so she has a spare one.
I love
Yeah.
Pikachu being tied to Squirtle was super cute as well.
Oh yeah.
adorable.
Very cute.
Yeah,
Man,
Squirtle gets to use
good-
Charmander gets to use
good like use of their lungs. That's
Yeah, impressive.
That's quite a distance.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I
They-
can't hold my breath for like
there's,
under a
like,
minute.
It's just like the idea of being like
A little
ferried
constitutional
around with your Pokemon is just like that was
Yeah.
so cool to me when I
Mhm.
was like just the idea of like just having them pull you along. Although like think about it now, it would be quite like weird and uncomfortable just being like pulled along with
It's
a
like-
rope tied around your
Oh,
waist.
it's like with the yeah. It's like I imagine maybe it's like when you get like when you're like on like a what's it called like a biscuit like on
Yeah.
a boat
Did anyone
and-
have an experience of trying to water
Experience.
ski thank you, when they were trying to water ski when they were younger?
No, I
It's
don't
like
know.
really
No.
difficult. And I had this experience where the boat, so I'm like hanging on, like ready to go, and then the boat goes off, and like I couldn't get up properly, and they're just dragging me flat, like, like through the water. So that's probably what it's like.
Yeah,
Common
imagine
common
that
problem
would-
all over people your age not getting it up, you know.
So
you get it.
next on this episode,
Actually, the
well,
biblical reference.
Yes,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
intrigued.
Yeah.
by
Are
this.
there Bible references throughout
No.
Pokemon or all?
Really?
Yeah,
What-
Ash
so
mentions
the
Noah,
biblical
yeah.
they were
No,
like they
Brock
got the
mentions-
dove.
Oh, Brock, sorry.
What is it? They got the. Did they say?
So-
They referenced the dove going to find dry
yeah,
land.
Brock's like, when Noah was surrounded by water, yeah, he used a bird to go find land,
Yeah.
and then the bird came back.
Maybe Noah was a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah.
No, it's a very
Maybe
clear.
maybe it's like there's a Christian version, a Pokemon version of Christianity where Noah had like 2 of every Pokemon type.
Oh my God.
And a Ditto. Actually, he just had 1 of every type and a Ditto.
Ditto.
What was that?
And that Ditto got busy.
That's
There's-
a lot of Pokemon.
what's,
Someone 900 Pokemon.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys know? Like, I'm just not informed. Like, this is just like I don't
What
know.
else
I'm
is
asking
new?
Christian. Oh hey, like because obviously like this was Japan first. Are they predominantly Christian?
They do have
Japanese
a big
people?
Christian population. Actually, I'm
They-
reading
yeah.
a book about like the persecution of like when
Uh-huh.
because like in the 1600s and stuff when like they had like heaps of like every like few years they'd have like a new leader and then some would be pro Christianity, some would be really against it,
Oh.
and like people
Even-
like got burnt and like
Wow.
killed and like forced to repent like
Uh-huh.
they were religious.
Even
So-
there's Christianity, but I think predominantly it's something like Shinto based, isn't it? Like
Um,
I'm not sure,
like
but yeah, Christianity was introduced from
Right.
like it's like from like the Catholic Church.
So it probably wasn't just a dub thing. It was probably like
That's
yeah,
legit.
trying
Wow.
to remember from back when I was studying this stuff. It's like Shinto, of course, is a big belief with Japanese culture and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and the gods they're legit.
Mhm.
They believe in that, but like it's not the be all and end all how Christianity is, if that makes a sense.
Plus, like everyone knows, like not I'm not religious at all, but I still grew up knowing
Yeah.
who Noah is.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
Because like almost like it's not even just Christianity. Like so many like different like religions and
Oh.
like cultures have stories about floods.
right.
and,
Oh,
like-
yeah. That's
yeah.
really interesting.
So
We'll
there's, like,
we'll actually see a biblical figure showing up in the
What?
series.
Really?
What?
It's Santa Claus.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my
Yes.
God! It's Santa
Yes.
Claus in the
What?
show.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
just right.
Santa Claus was also not a biblical figure.
Yeah, Saint Claus, Saint Claus.
Yeah, we're not. There's no ho 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 in the Bible.
No, but is Santa Claus like canon in?
Why?
We're
The
gonna have to
Pokemon
find
universe.
the
I didn't
episode
know
somewhere,
that.
but
It's
yeah,
coming
like,
up at
banned
some
or something?
point.
it's
no,
the Jinx
no.
episode.
Oh, but it's been dubbed and stuff.
Oh, it's the
so-
Jinx
Well,
episode.
So
Oh,
it'll be
yeah.
easy to find.
Actually, when we get to Jinx,
I think they might have just recolored.
I might
the
have it on the
episode.
DVDs actually.
when we get to the Jinx episode, I bet on Netflix is it going to be the non-racist
Ah.
Jinx?
They might have
Jinx.
recolored
Yeah.
the Jinx.
Is it
Yeah.
on your DVDs? Is it
I
recolored?
might. I think on my DVDs is the black.
I could have a
We should-
look now,
yeah.
but
Watch that.
Um,
if we want.
I kind of want to go back to the biblical stuff again because
Yeah.
you briefly brought up about it being dubbed. Like, there's still
Yeah.
a chance it could have been more of a Shinto reference and more of a Japanese-based god. And when it came to America,
Can you look
just
that
to,
up? then?
just to kind of
Yeah.
simplify it for the American audience who are predominantly Christian.
Yeah.
I can see that happening. I don't know for sure. I'm not saying that's
Oh
what it
my
is, but
gosh.
I could see it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
is-
just thought that was really, really interesting.
Nah, I feel like Noah's just like everyone knows. Like No, it's just like the
well,
flood.
we
is
know. I'm like, do Japanese people are they familiar with that?
It's like
Fairy
it's like
tale?
it's like I think it's like similar things like everyone knowing what the Titanic is.
Yeah.
Like before you even know what the
Mhm.
movie is, you know the Titanic. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that it hit an iceberg and sank.
But yeah, so anyway, the reference came, and then Ash knows Pidgeotto to go and find a stick, and they come across Team Rocket instead.
Yeah. Do you think it would be hard to believe in a god in a world where like creatures are just running around like killing like or just like with like fire powers?
Hey
and
man, we have
electricity?
Arceus, an actual Pokemon god.
Yeah.
Yes, there are like and like there's like obvious references to space,
like-
and there's like legendary Pokemon who
Yeah.
have like the ability to like
Warp
heal,
space and time.
heal and stuff. Yeah, and do magic. So
And
like
what does that
gods aren't that
mean-
big of a jump.
What does that mean though? If you can put God in a Pokeball,
That means you're powerful.
It means that it means
can man have that much power?
It's
And
your
should
god.
man have that much
in
power?
this world, yes.
Well, I guess that's kind
I
of like the
guess.
idea of Mewtwo, isn't it? I don't know. I haven't seen the first movie. I only know Mewtwo from like just like general kind of pop culture, but like he's kind of made to be like super powerful,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that kind of
and
screws.
Mewtwo does get a lot of power, and
That
so.
kind of
I'm not
screws
drunk on
with
the
people.
first existential talk.
Jeez.
So Pidgeotto finds Team Rocket,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
which they're practically dead.
Well, they must be like basically
On
dead
the-
because
on the
they
verge.
like. They're like, oh yes, we had to give them proper funeral rites
Oh
at
my
sea,
God.
even though they were our enemies.
and no one questions it, and they
No,
just start
they
to
all
shove
start
them
pushing
on
it.
the
Just
edge.
like
And
give a
Pikachu's
final
like, yeah,
prayer.
okay.
From what
here
I
we
know,
go.
from like I think like Vikings or something, the proper funeral rites at sea is you put them on like a
They
raft
mostly-
Yeah,
and then you
burn it.
burn them out.
Burn the raft.
Lo-
These guys-
Logan, so those Vikings, do they mainly come from Minnesota?
That's funny.
What? What's
Minnesota,
that
eh?
You see that when
Because
you
the
watch the
Minnesota
movie.
Vikings are the.
It's a reference to the movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, they're like a football team as
Oh.
well.
Sports.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
Vikings also on the treks to other lands, especially England. If somebody died on the boat on the way to the trip, they would just lob them off. That would be it. That's only if you died on the
Economical.
way. Yeah.
I mean, like,
wonder if
'cause
that's
then-
another,
well, you wouldn't get like disease or
Economic-
Exactly, yeah.
Economical, but not moral,
What?
per se.
No,
All of
because
it,
it's
they
like
raped and pillaged villages. They're not.
Yeah,
moral
they
people.
weren't great.
I wonder if it was different in the Japanese dub. If it was like separate for like pushing them off the water. Maybe they
So
maybe they
funny.
didn't say it was like
the way they just like go to do it. They're like, oh damn, all right, yep, cool.
yeah.
it's so
See ya.
there's so many instances of dark humor in this
It's
episode.
quite dark.
And then like
Team Rocket as well. They get a lot of the brunt of it, which is really
they
fun.
push them into the sea, and then they're like, "No, we're alive!" And
Yeah.
then they scream zombies, and then Meowth's like, "Ah, my fur is all wet," and then gets that, and then Pikachu does the best thing I've ever seen Pikachu do, which
Yeah.
is like he goes like, "Oh snap!"
Savage.
Like everyone else, I think was relieved
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
weren't actually
yeah.
dead, but then Pikachu,
Yeah,
Can you
What
blame
did
him?
they-
He
No.
keep-
Yeah.
they try to keep on
And-
kidnapping
yeah,
him.
that
you know?
is true. Yeah, they,
Pikachu has this really serious look, I think,
Yeah.
on his face as well. It's
Yeah.
just like,
because like obviously,
nearly had him.
Well, they did almost kill Pikachu, like when in that big ball episode in the Challenge episode.
Yeah, true.
Okay, I don't think Pikachu could actually breathe in that weird plastic bag. I think he's like
on
got-
that bubble.
Yeah,
That
I think
bubble
he's
is
got
better.
some.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's got some
It's got
revenge.
some hatred, yeah.
Some
I mean,
revenge
fair
hatred.
enough.
Mhm.
Also, I felt so bad for Magikarp when James
kicks
it into the ocean. He's like, I don't want to be your master. I felt so bad.
It's
for
fully
him.
after even when they try to eat him as well, and Meowth
Yeah.
breaks his teeth.
Oh,
on
that's
the
a good thing.
Magikarp.
Yeah, they try to eat him, and we
Yeah.
see,
Yeah. Oh,
I think there's
yeah.
like two images. We see like him in like some kind of like soup, like noodle soup,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then
Like a
also him
sushi.
roasted.
And
Yeah.
the sick thing is,
Steak.
Magikarp's face is just full on display as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and all in both of them.
Well,
Yum,
they do
yum.
that for regular fish.
Yeah, they do
as
for
well,
Yeah, it's
though.
kind
Yeah.
of inhumane.
And
Yeah.
then like and then
tasty,
Meowth
though.
tries to bite him, and then I think is it Brock or
Yeah.
Misty's like, oh, he's just bones and scales.
bones and
Misty said
scales,
that, yeah.
It's just
Which-
disgusting.
well, that's interesting though, because that's retcon, like I mentioned way back in a previous episode in Generation 4 in the games, where Magikarp were eaten, bones were picked, and then thrown
Yeah.
back in the ocean to be regrown.
Mm.
Oh, but it's explained because originally Magikarp were very meaty,
Right.
and
Ah.
then once the bones were picked, then I think it just over time it led to
Evolution.
evolution.
Just become a bones and
the
scales.
the Magikarp that are more bony and less likely to be eaten.
Explains why they're
survive.
absolutely crap.
Yeah.
In battle then. Yeah.
Because they're just scales and bones.
Yeah.
And like then so James kicks it, and then it starts. Is this the first evolution apart from after
Butterfree and stuff.
Butterfree?
Yeah.
like the first
Wow.
non-bug type
Yeah,
evolution that we
actually.
actually see.
Yeah.
Because this is the first time that because bug Pokemon, like their evolution is actually kind of real. Like in real life,
Yeah.
you have this like a caterpillar stage and stuff. This is the first one we see that's not actually like.
Yeah.
It's so extreme.
And it's
as
such
well.
an impressive one.
It's like, I just imagine if you're that Magikarp and everyone was talking about eating you and
Yeah.
people trying to eat you, and then you get kicked off you get released, which I guess is actually a good thing because you're a fish. But then
Yeah, they had it just flailing on the. Who knows
Yeah.
how many days were they on that raft? And they didn't just. They either didn't put
No
it
one
back
thought
into
to put
the
water on
Pokeball.
Magikarp.
Yeah, he's just like flailing in the water. Just
like, it looked like he
days.
couldn't even swim in the water.
Yeah.
So are you guys familiar with the whole koi and the dragon story?
I'm aware of it just because I know there's and when I was in the Pokemon community on the forums, they would talk about like Magikarp's evolution, and it was hotly debated about why Gyarados should be a dragon water type and not just a flying water type.
flying.
So I'll just explain quickly the whole story. So the idea behind the koi becoming the dragon is that for generations upon generations, koi will keep on trying to travel up waterfalls, and the few koi that could travel the waterfall will reach its apex and its promiscuity by turning into a dragon. And that's the whole thing with Magikarp.
Awesome.
And Gyarados is how such a weak Pokemon.
Where's this story from?
It's Japanese legend.
Cool.
How Carps, Magikarps are such a weak Pokemon, yet if they keep on trying, eventually reaching that apex, they'll become this ultra powerful Pokemon.
And so
But in this
this
situation,
Magikarp's
it just-
apex is being kicked.
kicked.
Being
by
kicked, yeah.
champs.
Exactly.
And it just being its feelings being really
You can say
hurt.
that, but it also did save Team Rocket from a sinking ship too.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Did it? I mean, if Pidgeot didn't find them, they would have.
Well, they brought it up from the Mariana Trench. Like,
Did he? Or he kind of just probably floated.
Yeah, I think they
it
just,
looked like
I think they just
floated
died
up.
and floated
Yeah.
up and somehow.
I think in some ways they saved the Magikarp.
Yeah, really.
And so they kick it off, and it turns into Gyarados, and then like the Gyarados looks like it's about to attack them.
Yeah.
And then we see Dexter.
Pokedex.
yeah.
Well, how many
Good
episodes
old
has it been? We should actually start keeping track of
With
like
Dexter count, yeah.
the
Dexter
amount of
count.
like how many like. This is that long because it was like every single episode.
Mhm.
Then there was a little break, and we saw it again.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen it probably
You should
since.
cherish these times
I'll take
because
the-
every episode eventually get to the point where every episode Dexter shows up.
When
Yeah.
was the last time we saw Dexter?
I'll take a wild guess and say it was Cerulean
Squirtle?
City when Officer Jenny was like, "Who are you?" to Ash, and he got out his Pokemon.
Oh,
No,
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 the
no,
Krabby,
no.
the Krabby.
Oh, the
No.
Krabby. Yeah.
Krabby
Was it the
and the
Krabby?
Bill
Oh yeah,
episode.
the Krabby. that would've
Because
been-
and the episode before that would have been the Charmander episode when we learn about the
Yeah.
flame.
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
He'll be Krabby.
Yeah, Krabby.
Jeez.
Yeah, I've got that one.
So
Nice one. Oliver.
Gyarados was here. Ash is a loser.
Huh? Ash is a loser.
Gyarados was here. Ash.
I just have that
Gary
in my
was
notes.
here.
It's just
Ash
a
was
Yeah, that's a
loser.
good
It's a
one.
pun.
Oh,
And so they start.
Oh.
Misty like
I
throws
see.
out like
Smell
multiple
you
like
later.
Pokemon. Like her,
Misty knows the lore about
Yeah.
Gyarados.
she starts
Yeah.
throwing out her 3 Pokemon. Everyone's like, "Ooh, what are you gonna do, Misty?" Like
Yeah.
thinking she's about to like do this cool ass attack, and she's like, "I'm gonna use my best strategy or something.
Yeah,
I'm gonna run." And then they just start sprinting.
they
like,
just
swimming
like
away.
paddling and trying to escape, and then I think what is it? Gyarados just stops, and they kind of stop as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then like they're like, "Why is it stopped?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe it's letting us go. And then Misty
Charging up
throws
its
down some
Dragon
deep
Rage.
lore.
Yeah,
Some
you know,
deep.
I was
Gyarados
always
lore.
so hyped. I remember as a kid watching it, I was always so hyped, like seeing Misty talking about Gyarados, about how it was using like its most powerful move and
Yeah.
stuff.
I always thought Gyarados was a legendary Pokemon growing up,
Yeah,
just because like I didn't know that he evolved from Magikarp.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Probably until I was like
A few weeks ago.
replaying the games when I
Right.
was like older.
Gyarados has like a really strong connection in the Pokemon world. It's there a lot. You have shiny Gyarados
yeah.
in Gen 2. In the TCG, there's never not really been a bad Gyarados card. It's always been pretty viable.
Misty as well. She has a fear of Gyarados.
Yeah.
She
Um,
has a Gyarados in that battle that we
yeah,
saw
yeah.
when
Ah.
they rematch Pikachu versus Gyarados is in
Yeah,
that was
I think it's Sun and Moon.
sickest battle I've seen.
it's a good battle.
So cool.
Yeah, man.
Eventually, I think, well, she gets over her fear of it. At this point, she's afraid. Although it's
Well,
not
they just
mentioned
needed a
in this.
Mega Evolution for Misty.
Yeah, it's not mentioned in this episode that she's got fear. But I think it's natural to be afraid of a Gyarados.
Yeah.
man.
It's a dragonfish.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
And it's
Dracovish.
giant. I mean, when we see it in this, don't bring up Dragonfish. When we see it in this episode, it's like towering.
Yeah.
Like, it's massive.
Really
They,
big.
you know what I've realized is they really nerfed a lot of like non-legendary Pokemon in the as the anime goes on. you won't know. You won't notice, but like they don't really have as much effect on the environment or as much like danger to them later on in the series.
Oh yeah.
Which I've.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see this Gyarados conjure up a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
eventually it'll just be swimming in a lake.
It stops. It starts shouting, and then it calls like I think
Calls its
other
brothers.
calls three other Gyarados out of
Yeah.
nowhere, and then they
You're
start
like,
doing Dragon Rage.
Dragon Rage.
Which looks more like Dragon Dance.
I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
were
Dragon Dance.
dancing. They were
Yeah.
dancing.
They were like, and then they like kind of moved so fast that they created like a group twister attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what a Dragon Rage looks like? A twister, like a tornado?
Dragon?
No.
So Twister, it's its own move, its own Dragon type move. But it's
Dragon
only
Rage
20
just
base
looks
power.
like that little
It's all
red
ball.
cross in the corner, right?
Dragon Rage.
That's
Dragon
Fire
Rage
Blast.
is just like a little blue like beam.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, yeah.
In the games,
In the
at
games,
least.
Dragon Rage is quite a weak attack. It only does 40 damage.
But it's
very good.
guaranteed
Yeah, it's very
40
good in the
damage.
game.
Yeah.
So
So like,
it's a great
I
early
guess-
game.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's an interesting choice. Why, I by the looks of it, it looked like a Dragon Dance to me.
Yeah,
not
that-
a Dragon
Did Dragon
Rage.
Dance exist at this time?
No, it didn't.
No.
So.
Oh, it didn't.
No.
No.
Oh, maybe it was based off of this.
Yeah.
It must have been.
Oh yeah.
There's a big chance.
So Dragon Rage must have been like the only move they could really say that
Because
Gyarados
it
could
was
do.
Yeah,
in
for
the
sure.
games at the time. That and Twister were the only two Dragon type moves.
And then
around.
they get
Twisted away.
twisted away. I actually was so annoyed
Yeah.
because you guys didn't tell me there was a third.
Yeah, it was another cliffhanger.
You didn't tell me that because you guys were just like, oh, you got to watch these 2 episodes. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. I didn't know I had to, there's a third.
Yeah,
If I'm
I was
honest-
also like,
If
what?
if I'm
Yeah.
honest, I knew it carried over, but
Yeah.
I forgot it was that much of a clip.
Me too. I
Yeah.
didn't realize.
'Cause, like-
Otherwise, I would have said something.
Because they were holding hands, and then their hands all got separated, which was so sad seeing Pikachu's hand. I think it slipped out of Brock's hand.
Yeah.
And then they're all like going away to some. Who know? I mean, I guess they're all gonna appear in the
I
same.
mean, it's in the
place.
next title.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, we.
Yeah.
I did it with
That's what's next.
Yeah.
I just saw. Should we say what it is?
yeah, we'll
Oh,
say
we'll
it.
say it later.
Yeah.
Sign off,
Okay.
man.
Actually, we didn't talk about one of the funniest parts that me and Oliver really were shocked about.
Yeah, pun.
Pikachu. Ash is like, oh, I need to think.
Oh
and
my
he's
gosh,
like,
yeah.
he grabs Pikachu's hand and he's like, Pikachu, shock me so I can like come up with an idea.
Yeah.
And Pikachu shocks him, which is terrible.
Which is like that's a horrible thing to show kids.
He'll get harder,
Electrotherapy is the way to go.
Yeah, that is what it is. It's electroshock therapy.
Electric shock therapy in very
It's like-
controlled
so
manners
I'm a
can
5-year-old?
help some
Yeah.
things
I'm a 5-year-old.
Thanks, Psych
in
Major.
controlled environments,
I'm a 5-year-old.
and also as a
I
last
can't.
resort.
I can't work
Yeah.
out this math
Oh,
question.
jeez.
Let me grab this fork and stick it in the toaster.
Oh my god!
Like,
Don't do that.
Like,
That's what it.
Pikachu.
That's
I
what
get,
it was
no,
like.
I get what you're thinking, but like, I think what they were going for was a more extreme version of like Ash is frazzled and frail right now. He can't think what to do, so he just needs a jolting.
Yeah.
Like a
That's
literal
not.
jolting.
That's
It's
not
like-
how
like
that
just
works.
like a
Oh,
slap
of
to the
course
face
not.
or something.
It's a cartoon show.
Yeah, but that's not a slap to a face is not an
Well, I
electric
mean, we
shock.
see,
Yeah.
we
The thing
see
is
20
this-
seconds later, Jesse slapped
Yeah.
James in the face with the same thing.
Too,
Which
because
is
he was
actually
like
interesting
panicking.
because in the
Yeah.
first episode, Misty's slap is cut out, but it's
Yeah.
okay for James and
I guess
Juicy
because
to
they're
do.
older. I don't know.
Well, and I guess the purpose of the slaps are different. Like in that one, she's punishing Ash, and this one, like she's doing it to kind of help James.
yeah.
I think like the thing with Pikachu is like it's a consensual zap, so I think Pikachu can kind of control it to
Yes.
not.
Oh
be...
yeah, he can, but it's
Do
still.
you think before chess games, like athlete chess people, like they purposefully shock themselves to get their brain going?
Maybe they've electrocuted the chess pieces every time they make a wrong move. They
Oh
get
my
a little zap.
God.
Wow.
I mean,
That's
That
there
is
are-
like a thing people use.
there,
Like
yeah,
zap
there are
them.
people that zap
They're like
themselves.
things that like
That
I remember
doesn't
it was a
sound
thing.
healthy.
No, it was this thing though. Like I remember it being advertised. I think towards the end of when I was in high school, of like a watch or like an app you can get for something like.
Oh my
it's
god! You just
for-
unlocked this childhood memory in
It's
my
for
head.
like ticks.
Did
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get, like,
No.
the
This is like
dollar?
No,
this is
no.
like a watch or like something that you just stick
Was it
to
on,
your
was it on like
wrist.
Dragon's Den or
Do you-
like
No, no, no.
Shark
And like
Tank?
when you
Okay.
oversleep on your alarm,
Oh my god!
it zaps you so that you
Oh.
don't
Do
oversleep.
you
Well, that's about
do you
to have
remember
problems.
those pens that like will zap you?
Oh yeah,
you
the
use
prank
them?
pens.
Yeah, the prank
Oh,
pens.
yeah.
I used to, and like
Yeah.
sometimes you press it and you can't let go for a little
yeah,
bit. Yeah.
Oh my, or those like
That's a good
lie,
prank.
those lie detector things that you put everyone puts their finger in it, and then like it zaps one of you randomly. I don't even think.
Did you
that
guys
it's,
have
like,
like the pack of gums?
Yes, and it like you pull
Yeah.
it out and it
Yeah.
snaps on your finger. Yeah,
Oh, I love
so
all those.
I
gifts.
got
good.
pranked so much.
Oh,
that's
So
so
apparently
I wanna
people
be a
do
child
like
again.
to shock themselves.
We still are, Harry.
I'm 23. I'm not a child.
Ah,
I'm
You're
okay,
a
never
child at heart.
and
It's,
then
you know what?
We're reviewing
Okay,
Pokemon,
this
so
is
yes.
this is a side tangent. It's my Dennis rant corner, but it's basically
Dennis's rant corner.
It's a segment of every episode.
it's like it's
Not every
just like
virginity, is it real?
you don't have to, I think as you get older you realize that like being young or like it's a choice to be young or to be willing to have fun, and like it's like
It rhymes, so it has
Are
to
you
be true.
Cindy Lauper?
you can have fun with life. I mean, I don't know. Okay, I'm done.
Dennis's rant is
Actually-
over.
going off that run. Actually, I was reading this thing the other day about the original creator of Pokemon about like and like making the original movie because they thought the anime was going to come to an end soon.
Yeah.
And then he originally wrote it so that the movie ends with old Ash.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have Pikachu with him anymore.
Whoa.
And then Ash has like a flashback at the end of the movie, and instead of going out to go like be a Pokemon master,
Oh my gosh.
he goes out
die.
to find the meaning of life.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like that's what the movie. That's what like it was meant to kind of
Damn.
like be like a
You know the
weird
meaning of life is
circle.
42, though, right?
Oh yeah,
Actually, the meaning to life.
Which is
everything
like, that's
procreate
crazy.
and
It
Like-
is.
species.
The original creator of the original artistic showrunner or the person in charge of like the direction of Pokemon, he was like similar. He was in charge of the movies, like the first two, I think. He had like a lot of creative ideas, and he was I think,
gonna
very
take it-
troubled as well.
He's going
Oh,
to take,
like-
I think,
Oh.
nowadays, like that kind of like idea for a show and that kind of like crazy thing
Yeah.
would be super popular. Like
Yeah.
you kind of see that in Adventure Time and
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure.
Yeah.
And this like late 90s, early 2000s, it would have been like if he had gone through some of those ideas he had, would have been like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
They would have
for
been so
cartoons.
alienating, especially to be linking it to the Pokemon franchise as well.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Could you? I was just thinking now that like the reason Pokemon being so crazy and creative and also going to these dark places is probably one of the reasons why it's so successful. You wouldn't see like this story about Gyarados in a shipwreck and the characters possibly dying on like any other cartoon show at that time period.
Yeah,
for
at that
sure.
time period, yeah, for sure.
The thing is like this show probably was instrumental in like shows like Adventure Time,
Definitely.
the regular show,
Yo, regular
um,
show.
and,
Yeah, regular
love
show has
no,
good-
no, I just
oh, yeah.
love regular show.
and like other forms of
Unsung
shonen
heroes
or
of
like
regular show.
anime.
Ringtone, pick up the phone.
Because Pokemon came out when you had like Rugrats had already done its run basically, but you had SpongeBob was just coming out,
Power
Girls.
Rangers.
Power Rangers,
And it was so subversive because it was Japanese, so it was like there was that cultural separation. But also because it had like different themes that weren't really explored, and you had this creative person, director or showrunner, who's like kind of pushing this boundary, which I think you can find using the franchise as a way of kind of sharing these kind of ideas, which you see in all the better Marvel movies, I find.
And it's kind of like themes that are not really explored until the next big Japanese show to come and hit Eastern Shores, being Yu-Gi-Oh! Where
Right.
you have things like the Shadow
Yeah.
Realm and dealing with death, and
True.
souls, and all that stuff, and life is on the line. It's kind of you don't really see it. You see it in much Eastern Western created shows.
Maybe it's because of shows like this and like a different kind of culture and coming from like a Japanese background is what made
Well, yeah,
cartoons
'cause-
now
Yeah.
that like cartoons very common they address dark themes.
because
now.
like anime always told like one continuous story
Yep.
with
Yeah.
like filler sometimes,
Uh-huh.
whereas like shows that like SpongeBob and stuff are all just like one off.
Yeah.
It's the classic sitcom. Yeah.
And-
Story.
But even
I
sitcoms
think
have continuous stories.
there's definitely like a cultural thing as well, because I think Japan, well, like the Japanese culture, they view the ideas of
They
death
view death
and,
differently.
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
meanings behind death differently, so they present it differently,
Yeah.
and they can kind of share that more in their like
Mm.
childhood media
Yeah,
and
for
stuff.
sure.
Yeah.
Rather like Adventure Time, for instance, is a very Western kind of take on this Pokemon idea of like characters go on adventures and stuff, and like the death that's referenced in that show is like personified by the Lich, and which is
Yeah.
like this thing that's super like overbearing.
It's like a manifestation,
and it's like evil, and it's like dark and
like fearful.
But then, I think they try and like step back away because they turn the lich into a baby.
That's just funny.
So I don't know.
Gunther, though, am I right?
Oh yeah, the Orgalorg.
I just
No, you know about that.
Yeah.
Man, that got deep right there, guys.
Yeah.
Should we share our final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts about the episode.
Oh, and then we should also talk about like what you think is gonna happen next.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So
Yeah.
Before that, Oliver, Unsung Heroes.
Unsung heroes. I'd like to give a shout out to Goldine. However, I believe that you deserve to be an unsung hero.
Ouch.
I
Stay
don't-
strong, Goldine. Stay strong.
The
all I'm
Goldine
trying to say.
people will have will
Who
get
like
angry letters
who
from
is
the
like
Goldine
boy?
people.
You know who one of my favorite Pokemon is? Goldine. Like no one says that.
We're gonna get so many letters from the Goldine Association now.
The
Oliver.
Goldine
Thanks.
Association.
The GA.
Yeah.
Do you want to go first, Dennis?
Oh yes. I really enjoyed this episode. I love how there's slapstick in the face of mortal peril. I love it was just an adventure. This is like probably the most dire situation the characters have been put in up to now in the series, and I think for a long while after as well, like being on a ship in the middle of the ocean down like however thousands of what is it, fathoms under the sea,
Pirate ships.
pirate ships under the sea, yeah. And yeah, it was just an overall entertaining episode that is just full on intense from start to finish. And it's like The Last Jedi. I kind of
It's like The Last Jedi.
Who's Rose in this situation?
The Last Jedi or
Magikarp.
or what is it? The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh no, Goldine.
Is that the middle one in the?
Yeah.
It's like the middle one is the one where things are the most dire, and that's what I like about the middle one. It's like it's like palpable.
Just
The
like
middle, the bad
Malcolm.
guy
You know?
has to
It
win.
can afford to be like super super intense.
It's like Charmander's episode.
Just like Malcolm.
Yeah,
Do you want to
Malcolm
go
in the
next?
middle.
Do you want to go next, Harry? And then me and Oliver will do ours with our
I need
predictions.
to recover, but yeah, I can go.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed this one. I found it way more entertaining than the first one, but I think you hit on the head there, Dennis, because I did kind of forget that how much this connects to the next episode.
Yeah.
I knew it was there, but I forgot how much it was. So you see that typical trend of the middle child being the most dark.
The middle child.
In terms of trilogies,
Oh,
not families. I'm not sure looking at middle children. But yeah, again, like it unfortunately isn't much story progression. It's just a lot of character progression, which is always nice. And the whole dealing with tough situations and tough topics in a childhood episode is good. This isn't just an episode. This is a good episode.
Very good episode.
Snaps.
It's no Here Comes the Squirtle Squad.
Yeah, way better. A million times better.
I'm one day, Logan.
Wipes Squirtle Squad from my memory.
One of these days,
I might
Alice,
have to
one of
actually
these
watch
days.
the Dexperience episode to remember what happened in that.
Wow.
I enjoyed this episode as well. It was really good. Especially the endings. Like the endings of both these episodes have like maybe if like I watched these episodes just before the cliffhangers happened, I'd be like I would have a different opinion of the episodes because like the endings and not knowing what happens next just blew my mind twice in a row because first of all I thought they were going to die because they were in a ship that sunk which messed up. Like you see the tip of the boat, like there's no way they get meant to get out of that. And then this time you see them all disconnected in a tornado. And like as a kid, tornadoes are terrifying.
Yeah.
They're like because you only really see them on TV, especially like in New Zealand, like because we don't really get any tornadoes.
No.
And they're like they're like these big massive things of like fear.
Again, these are just 10-year-olds.
Yeah. When I was 10, I was scared of all of that kind of stuff.
Moths.
Yeah, I'm still scared of moths. Don't get me you get me
Watch out for
started.
Venomoth.
You wait for Mothim in Generation 4. Logan.
But yeah, seriously good episode.
Volcarona.
Prediction for the next episode. I know it's called Island of the Giant Pokemon. So I'm predicting there's going to be some giant Pokemon.
Oh, crazy.
That's a
I
stretch.
think they're going to ride a giant Pokemon to safety.
Oh,
I
cool.
see.
I didn't get my flying ship.
Mhm.
Do you think maybe
Like
do you think maybe Dragonite might make an appearance?
Nah, because I don't think you guys would have
Yeah.
talked about
You
it.
guys told us that Dragonite doesn't show another appearance, but
Oh,
I
we
would
did, that's right.
love that so much.
Yeah, and I was-
That would
I'm-
be-
I mean, maybe
hyped.
I
I'd be
was
lying.
leading you astray.
I'm seriously think they're going to fly a giant Pokemon or ride a giant Pokemon to safety.
It's a good guess.
And Team Rocket's going to try catch one,
Yeah.
Oh,
which will be funny.
sounds
I
good.
like that. I like that.
Oliver?
So the episode before this episode, I really enjoyed. I thought it was great. I thought it was so funny. But this episode just like blew it out the park. This episode was fantastic. It was so funny, and there was actually so many like Pokemon moments. Like we saw,
Oh, yeah, the utility of the Pokemon.
yeah,
I
we
was
saw
gonna
the
say.
utility of the Pokemon, which was awesome. Magikarp was hilarious. Team Rocket was hilarious. Like the whole moment with James with talking about Magikarp, where he's like, "You fools!" Like, I knew this would happen
So
all along.
He gets like the gleam in his
yeah,
eye.
it's beautiful.
Something
Like,
sorry to cut you off. Something
Yeah.
I do want to touch on quickly. From this point onwards, Team Rocket will grow to have an affection for Magikarps.
oh wow,
In
Makes
a
sense.
in a
Nice.
weird way.
Oh,
and I'll
okay.
leave that
Oh,
carrot
right.
dangling
okay,
Oh,
great.
for you
yeah.
guys later on. No,
just
please
saying.
continue.
I think the timing of this episode, like the comedic timing, was awesome,
Mm.
and so I had lots of fun, and it's a great cliffhanger again. I don't mind. Usually, sometimes cliffhangers can be annoying, but the ones we've had so far, I don't mind at all. I'm really
Especially because
enjoying
we
them.
don't have to wait a while for some. Like normally,
Yeah.
cliffhangers are annoying when you have to wait like a week,
Yeah.
and then it's disappointing. Like, I mean, I'm probably gonna wait a week to watch this one
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah,
But like, even if it's disappointing, I can just watch the next
Yeah.
episode after, which might not be. I don't have to keep waiting for it.
and then for the next episode, Island of
Oh, yeah,
Giant
prediction.
Pokemon, I would love for there to be a giant, like Rattata, like this, like something like tiny, right? Like a tiny
Giant
Pokemon.
Raticate that Ash tried to trade for his free.
Wait, what?
No,
So
that
you
was
want, like-
awful trade. No, but like I just think that'd be funny. Like if it's a small Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
Or like a Magikarp, like a giant Magikarp. I think that would be fantastic.
Hey, maybe maybe Pokemon become giant on the
Yeah.
island, like it's
Oh,
some
like
kind of like
Dynamax?
yeah, like a Dynamax. Actually, it'd be interesting to see later. A Dynamax, obviously, a Gigantamax didn't exist, but interesting
Yeah.
to see like in now when this new season's coming out, if they
If they
do
reference it at all.
reference
That would be cool.
Islands of the giant
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah.
and Dynamaxing.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I don't know, we'll talk about that
I like your
next-
predictions, guys.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that next
good
episode.
predictions.
We'll talk about it
actually.
next episode.
Pretty good.
So next episode is Island of the,
the
Giant
Giant
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Episode 17.
Wow, we're getting through
Yeah,
these.
it's
We
through
are.
these. I think
Yeah.
eventually we'll probably start doing like 2 releases a week when we
Yeah.
start getting
Yeah.
into it a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Just so we can like, even for us to start watching a bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be good.
But yeah, that's us for. So if you're listening during the day, I hope you have the good rest of your day. And if you're listening in the evening, have a good night.
And that thing you were gonna do, you should do it probably.
Dennis, I saw your TikTok about that.
Okay.
Sleep
Goodbye,
tight, New York.
everybody.
Bye.
What was Dennis' TikTok?
He was like, "That thing you want to do right now, just do it. Like, don't care what anyone says. Just
Man, who are you, Shia LaBeouf?
I know.
I saw that.
That's
Just do it."
Experience everything you could want. Dexperience, live your dreams. Dexperience, come and watch.